You guys all know what a balance beam in gymnastics is, right? And the beam that they walk on is how wide?
4 inches.
4 inches. It's only 4 inches. So if I had a balance beam that's, let's say, 100 feet long, and I placed it in that sand wash where Mark is, you're on one side of the beam, I'm on the other, and I hold out a $100 bill. Would you be willing to walk across that beam to get that $100 bill without falling?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Most people would. Okay, what if we change this a little bit? And that's a 100-foot drop. I hold out the $100 bill. Now would you be willing to walk that without a belay, without a rope?
About $500.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it for $5.
How about if I put out a $1 million bill? Would you walk it? But it starts to rain and the wind's blowing. No.
If it was dry, I probably would have.
But not under those conditions, right? So you'd value $1 million if it was dry. You said you'd try it. Remember what you just said when you walk back and you look at that gap, okay? Now let me give you another scenario. Any of you have young children at home? How old?
4, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, so 2-year-old. What happens if you're on one side, that same beam, but there's no other way to get across except you got to cross the beam, and you see your 2-year-old playing on this bridge.
You're there.
And she's like running back and forth.
That makes me physically ill.
Would you cross the beam then?
Yes.
Yeah. And why would you cross that beam?
To save her.
Because
I value
you
her.
value her, right? You wouldn't do it for $1 million, but you would do it for your daughter. So the question is, when you're trying to think of what do I value in this life, think about that analogy. What would I be willing to cross that beam for? Because that will probably indicate what you really value in this life. And if you're married or you have a significant other, do it together. Because that will help both of you to kind of find, all right, this is what we value. Now the question is, where am I in relationship to those values? So for example, if you're willing to cross that beam for your daughter, what is your relationship with your daughter? And this really becomes true, and take it from me because I know, as they become teenagers, that gap widens. But what can I do to keep that gap close like you probably have with your daughter right now, right? Because you're still going to cross that beam even when they're teenagers. You still will value them there. But what happens a lot of times is they have their life, you have your life, you're successful, they're trying to be successful. The gap tends to widen unless you make an intentional effort to keep that gap close. Because remember, as long as there's a gap, what don't you have?
Inner peace.
Inner peace.